the calm waters of Lake Michigan, playing host to the AVP Tour here in 2022 for the Chicago Open. It has been a fantastic Friday up to this point, and it's only gonna get better from here. Because take a look at this beautiful view. This is the Chicago Open. Can't wait to get ready here on Oak Street Beach. We have another women's first round matchup about to get underway. Sarah Sponcil and her partner Therese Cannon facing off against Jessica Gaffney and Megan Rice. It's the 2 versus the 15 seed here on Stadium Court, and a very solid team in Therese Cannon and Sarah Sponcil. Well, the winners from Hermosa Beach. And of course, up here in the booth, it's Cameron Irwin alongside the one and only Rich Lamborn, and we are trying to get a little bit of a flex off. I think I've got him by just enough. Now, what do we love about Therese Cannon and Sarah Sponcil? Because they're so dynamic in their play.
Yeah, well, we've seen Sponcil for a lot of years be at the top, but they're really, I think, finding their groove as a team. You mentioned their win in Hermosa, and I feel like their consistency level has just been getting more and more, better and better as the season's gone along. Yeah,
without a doubt, they have become more and more consistent. But we also have the third member of our team who is very, very consistent. Mark Sherman is down on the sand for our player intros. Down to you, bud.
And for the last first round winners bracket match, these two teams playing their first match here in Chicago, and let's welcome them loud and proud out to the court. This first player out of Temecula, California, played her college ball at San Francisco and then down to UC Berkeley. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for Jess Gaffney. Her partner out of Boca Raton, Florida. Always a great person to see on the beach. Ladies and gentlemen, out of the University of Florida and Florida Atlantic, give it up for Megan Rice. And their opponents, first player coming out of Phoenix, Arizona. She also played college ball at a couple of places. First at Loyola Marymount University, then on to UCLA, where she won a couple of national championships. She is an Olympian and AVP champion. It's Sarah Sponcil. Who needs to go to just one college? Let's go to lots of colleges. This player out of Pittsford, New York, started at Georgetown and then went on to the University of Southern California, also two-time national champion. Let's hear it for Therese Cannon.
So the number 2 versus number 15 on the women's side. We've seen a lot of work from Therese Cannon as well as Sarah Sponcil having that number 1 seed on their back. However, it's a little different story with Sarah Hughes and Kelly Kalinsky wearing it here in Chicago. Team on the other side, Megan Rice, Jessica Gaffney, played together back in Manhattan Beach as well as Virginia Beach. Looking for a third tournament played together here on the 2022 AVP Tour. First shot for Sponcil. And it's out of bounds. Back-to-back national champion out of UCLA. One of the great athletes on tour, playing both indoor as well as beach volleyball. Played at LMU. And probably just about every position as well. From outside to setter. Woman known for defense out here.
Yeah, you mentioned those titles at UCLA. I think that was the first time someone other than USC had won a
Yes.
championship, right? So obviously they have that inner-city rivalry going. It's good for Coach Stein and Sarah Sponcil and the Bruins to get that title.
Pepperdine may have something to say about that before, but that was before it was a NCAA championship, as the AVCA championship. There's a shot for Therese Cannon, also a two-time national champion out of USC.
Yeah, I won my intramural, volleyball title back in school too, but I'm teasing, of course.
I think you've got a gold medal to your name.
Much later.
Great set, including the win. Taking that into account, the chase is on. Jessica Gaffney, also a member of the Pac-12 club. She played at USF indoor, that's University of San Francisco, before transferring and playing both indoor as well as beach at Cal Berkeley.
Go Bears, right?
Exactly. Quick work by Therese Cannon. That's a nice wrist from Sponcil out the middle.
Yeah, everything clicking here early for Sponcil and Cannon, right? We saw that great spear dig just a moment ago from Sponcil to keep the play alive, and now a nice combination of the block and D. Tough to side out against this team.
Oh, what a serve. Therese Cannon, very deadly from the service line.
He's just out of bounds long. We're going to take a switch. 6-1. Hot start for Cannon and Sponcil.
6-1 now. Cannon and Sponcil starting off very strong. This has kind of been the story of the day thus far for those top-seeded teams here on Stadium Court, whether it's men's or women's, coming out strong and also finishing rather quickly.
Yeah, we don't always see that, right? Like,
No.
if you look at the seeding, that's kind of what you tend to expect, but obviously we play the game because anybody can beat anybody if you don't show up. But I don't know whether it's kind of getting near the end of the season. There's higher stakes because this is a gold series, a spot in Phoenix maybe on the line, but the top seeds, like you mentioned, do seem to be locked in.
I think the big exception is Evan Corey and Dave Palm, the 10 seed defeating Andy Benish and Miles Evans in 3 sets played.
Oh wow, that went deep too on that. Yeah, that's
But that wasn't on Stadium, so to the point.
Andy and Miles need the bright lights of the stadium, you're saying?
Maybe. Ace for Jess Gaffney.
Nobody goes 2 aces in a row. It's 4-6.
Jessica and Megan may be thumbing their noses in our direction at the suggestion that this was going to be a rollover for the 2 seed, right?
Hey, well, I wasn't saying it was a suggestion. I said there's been a pattern. Just saying.
Using the hands for the volley 7-4.
Just
Like our friend Kevin Barnett likes to say, statistics are, I always forget the first part of it. It's like basically reportive, not predictive.
Yeah.
Right? So we're just reporting what's happened thus far, not predicting what is yet to happen.
Yeah, we're just letting people know.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
5-7 closing the gap now are Rice and Gaffney. Rice out of FAU. She also played at Florida prior to FAU. High set. What a snap. Up and over the top for Therese Cannon.
Yeah, I enjoy watching these teams play. Obviously, Sponcil and Cannon under the tutelage of Scott Davenport, who just got to keep his seat in the box as his team, Schalk and Brunner, were on the stadium right before this. But you see a lot of the training in action here, right? They're very methodical in their approach, pass, get to their spot, collect themselves, and kind of start. And it really, those little nuances of the game really help their consistency level throughout, I think.
Scott was the former coach of Melissa Humano-Paredes and Sarah Pavin, correct?
Yes. Yeah, and then everything imploded once he was stopped working with them.
Okay.
I'm just I don't know that that's the case, but
Well, we don't know the exact story, but we do know they are not playing together anymore. They let us know versus few releases, whether that was on the FIVB Tour or here on the AVP Tour. They're both in action, though, here in the women's draw. Brandy Wilkerson playing alongside Melissa Humano-Paredes. Tina Gradina, 2 blockers on the sand between her and Sarah Pavin.
Right to the corner.
Shot into the corner.
Gaffney, 6-0.
Makes it 6-10. We've yet to have a repeat winner on the women's side. A new team has won every single Pro Series and Gold Series event thus far. And Sponcil known for that right there, let alone the defense. How about the on-two? The Olympian Sarah Sponcil.
Yeah, that was some footwork, worthy of Baryshnikov or, some ballet. It was fancy.
It was very quick. I'm also liking this new high-five exchange we got between Cannon and Sponcil. They've apparently worked that out in their new partnership on the 2022 season. Blocked and just wide. Jessica Gaffney, a formidable block at 6'1", originally out of Temecula, California.
Yeah, we talked about working on the nuances of your approach and kind of your starting point and so forth. I suppose your handshake between points is something else you spend some time.
Yeah, I think you got to. You think back to the A team. There were team hugs.
Team hugs.
You know. Also, Team Olympic gold medalists.
Right.
I think more importantly.
Whichever order you want to put those in.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, great to hear from April Ross back in Manhattan Beach. She was on the airways with us. Talked about how she could be getting back out on the sand at some point. Both of them chasing down some other life goals as of right now. Big congrats, though, to April Ross, who just started her master's program.
In
coaching.
In coaching. Oh,
So 13-8 right now. Hits the technical timeout.
Yeah, they were most recently team attending the U.S. Open in New York, which made me extremely jealous.
I know.
I would love that opportunity.
It's a dream.
Yeah. I saw the end of Rafa Nadal's match late last night. And then he zips up his pink hoodie and his pink hat, which I thought was gray because I'm colorblind. And my roommate goes, well, he's really leaning into that pink. And I said, what are you talking about?
Well, speaking of some phenomenal athletes, here's a look at our women's standings. This, of course, is for Phoenix out of the Gold Series events. Hughes Kalinsky could clinch with a top 4. Same Cannon and Sponcil could be clinched with a top 4 finish. Muno and Wilkerson, well, they're not actually even playing together here in Chicago. Chang and Flynn also in that top 4 position. Equivalent Skirmerhorn, Quoth Nuss also.
I think, just to be clear, that means that Hughes and Kalinsky and Cannon and Sponcil have already clinched a top 4 spot. So they're already in by way of their first 2 finishes.
That is correct. Sorry if I misspoke.
Way across the net for the other side. It's 9-3.
So depending on this weekend, that might change their seeds as to being in that top 4. 6 teams will be heading off to Phoenix for both the men's and women's side. 4 teams out of the top 4. 4 teams, excuse me, through points, and then another 2 will be wild cards on each side.
Yeah, always good to clinch your spot on your own merits. Then you don't have to go begging at Josh Glazebrook's door for the 5 or 6 spot. Start buying gifts and, find out what his Amazon wish list is and all that kind of stuff.
I have a feeling it would either be weights or camera equipment. 14-10. Sponcil. Quick snap again. She attacks so well from the middle.
Yeah, and it's deceptive too, right? Because she likes that kind of wrist away turn back to the line. A nice little snap there across her body.
2,823 feet traveled for Cannon and Sponcil. Of course, all that being brought to you by Connexon. The men behind the driver's seat in terms of putting that data together. Had a couple great crews from event to event. Great touch by Megan Rice. Blocked on the option. What a play from Jess Gaffney.
Good awareness, good preparedness by Gaffney there. I still like that choice from Cannon and Sponcil, even if they don't get the point. It's the right thing to do, I believe. And that's what you're kind of looking for, right? Not the result of any given play, but the right decision-making throughout.
Well, and you even like the fact you saw Sponcil trying to pull the block the opposite direction by going around to the other side, too. So it was more so the right play, but an even better one by Jessica Gaffney. 571 now for the number 2 seed. These two teams have met prior. It was back in Manhattan Beach. Cannon and Sponcil won, and it took them 3 sets. Lost the first 19-21. Then took set number 2, 21-8. That third and final was 15-12.
Sometimes when you have that close call, right, it fires you up for the next time you meet a team.
That's a great point.
Gets you on your game a little bit more.
Boy, nice set.
Cagey play from Sarah Sponcil, who gets that tight set, pushing it through the block of Jessica Gaffney.
Yeah, I like when the defenders have kind of that knack for that play, right? You see T. Krabs do a lot, shove it into the block and win those jousts.
Said Sarah Hughes do it a few times today as well, also tossing that ball all the way up to the net. So with a 6-point margin, Gaffney and Rice decide to cool things off, get themselves underneath the umbrella. And speaking of cooling things off, it is extremely warm here. It's kind of needed at this point. Well above 80 degrees now, over 70% humidity.
In just a little bit. Court 2, a lot of tight ones, a lot of long ones on court number 2 right now. Brewster and
all 4 of the athletes out on the sand have participated in NCAA beach volleyball. And just look at the number of champions here in Chicago. You think back, a couple of them, Therese Cannon in 16 and 17, Kelly Chang also there, Tina Gradina, Sarah Hughes, Megan Kraft, Savvy Simo, Sarah Sponcil. And there's just a few, and by few, I mean 2 schools represented.
Yeah.
UCLA, of course, and USC, the only 2 teams who have won an NCAA national champion. The Trojans taking the last 2, going back to back under the tutelage of Mr. Dane Bland. And I feel like this is the time to, give him a little extra love because he's not here. We don't want to make his head get too big, but he also went back to back here in Chicago. 2003 and 2004, taking home the title. One side, Jeff Nygaard.
I want to hear you say Savvy Simo, Sarah Sponcil 10 times fast.
Savvy Simo, Sarah Sponcil. Savvy Simo, Sarah Sponcil. Savvy Simo, Sarah Sponcil. That's 3. I could keep going, but I don't want to annoy people.
That's a good, a vocal warm-up, it sounds like.
It's great. I feel like I've said it a few times, called a lot of their college duels as well. You could also add Zonamuno. That's close. All great Bruins and now pro beach volleyball players. Sarah Sponcil just creeping around the backcourt. Open net. It's fun to watch her as she's kind of reading the play on the other side. Watch her feet and how she shifts around into a defensive posture on those off-ball plays and off-ball preparation. It's now set point, number 2 seed. Seems like she's putting extra on that serve, and it pays off. She's brought the service pressure today. 21-13, the number 2 seed has come to play. The AVP is brought to you by Sky Vodka, made with water enriched by Pacific minerals for a fresher tasting vodka and soda. By Waste Management. From recycling to renewable energy, we're working hard for a sustainable tomorrow. By Monster Hydro, hard-charging hydration. And by Terramana Small Batch Tequila. Bring on the mana.
Those radio gym shorts that you have from college, they're done. Get them out of here. It's time to upgrade your short game with the one from Fabletics Men.
We love them. Your girlfriend will be stealing these. They're the best.
This fabric fixes another major issue, fit.
It's got this crazy stretch to it that looks so cute when I do my yoga or errands or like literally anything. They're the most comfortable, best feeling, luxe-tastic fabric that we have ever worn.
I'm Carrie Walsh Jennings. I've played with lots of injuries and sore muscles. KT Tape has helped me push past the pain. Today, clinical studies prove what I've always known, that using KT Tape before, during, and after workouts can reduce muscle soreness. Whether it's the Olympics or the local gym, pain is pain.
Tape up with KT Tape, the #1 kinesiology tape. Use it for muscle soreness and many common injuries. KT Tape, train longer, finish stronger.
KT Tape works for me, it'll work for you.
Dear Mainland, aloha. My brother and I hear lots of you have discovered a real Hawaiian favorite, Big Wave Golden Ale. That's the good kind stuff, yeah, bro. Maybe it's the island flavor that makes each sip taste like a little vacation.
Got your beers here.
That's a whole lot of little vacations right there, huh, brother? That's like a big vacation. Retirement. One life, right? Mahalo. Big Wave Golden Ale from Kona Brewing.
The Windy City since 1984. Take a look at some of the numbers and the great legends of the game here in Chicago. The first champs, Hovland and Dodd. Your last year's champs, and Budiger and Patterson. For the women, it's the 20th event. Kleiman and Ross, well, they had won the last 3 played here in Chicago. And actually, you think back to the 2017, John Hyden as well, playing alongside Ryan Doherty. He won that at 44 years old, the oldest to win an AVP title.
Kelly Chang and Sarah Hughes were younger combined than John Hyden was.
In 2017, they were the youngest duo to have won a title. And they're actually the only 2 in this draw to have won here.
Now, this is such a great stop. I love it here. I love it.
I think you just like the food.
I like the food. I mean, the location's unbelievable. The weather almost always cooperates.
Can we say how docile the lake is this year? Usually it's like up into the stands, like making the stands start to float away. We've got, you know, forklifts flying off into the water. It's not the case this year. They're really decided to be kind to us.
It is very docile. I forgot to bring my thesaurus this morning.
That journalism degree coming out. Strong, as is Therese Cannon. Tough serve down the line. That's one of her favorites to pick from. Trying to to take away that angle, but just enough for Megan Rice.
Yeah, the block and defense were good in set 1 from Cannon and Sponcil, but the service pressure was also very strong.
Wow, that was right on cue, but on the other side, Megan Rice.
The other way, yeah.
Whoa! Loading the cannon is Therese Cannon. More like firing it.
Firing it, yeah. That looked pretty smooth and effortless, right?
Deep float serve. Sponcil quick up, and a double is going to be called on Therese Cannon. The wind has picked up as the afternoon has rolled on. A little bit something to pay attention to as that ball travels off the platform.
Yeah, I don't know my directions sitting here on the shores of Lake Michigan. It's going from our right to left, so I don't know which way that is, but it's certainly, it has Cannon and Sponcil on the better of the two sides right now. Your screen left would be the good side, the way the wind's blowing.
I believe it's east to west.
East to west, okay.
I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, you're showing me a map as if that's going to help me. I'm not bright enough to. It's going up. Ooh, nice little shot.
We need Dane. We need Dane, our weatherman, to come back and tell us. All right, 5-4. Back to the volleyball, which is most important. We do at least know what side's the good side. That would be that of Cannon and Sponcil.
Great take from Megan Rice, waiting for one in the line, and the net violation. 6-4.
Great hands from Sponcil. Off one, the slide attack. Megan Rice with the on one. Sponcil doesn't even go to her feet or knees.
Out of bounds.
Nor does she go to two hands, a little cheeky one-arm left-handed spear. We got them being on the good side, but they're in a 3-point deficit right now. Having a little bit of trouble siding out.
And Sponcil going with the experience play here, cleaning off the glasses, slowing things down an extra minute. From the right side. You hear the call up and down from Gaffney, and she delivers.
Rolling, Gaffney Rice, 8-4.
That's a couple times now she's gone to that shot, the little short teardrop against the retreating blocker. That's a crafty shot, because you don't expect it, right? You're pulling off the net expecting something to come at you hard.
What a swing, but an even better dig from Rice. And it was interesting before that play, Cannon and Sponcil looked at each other and said, do we take a timeout now or do we wait one more? And Cannon said, no, give me one more. Right there, she took a beautiful rip of the ball, but Rice doing a nice job defensively.
9-4.
9-4 now for Gaffney and Rice, who have come out in set number 2. We've been spending so much time talking about Phoenix, and for good reason. And here is a great opportunity for you it's time for you to make your Gold Series Chicago Open predictions on Bally Play's AVP Predictor game and take your shot to win, get this, 6 VIP tickets to the championships in Phoenix. Just scan that QR code or go to ballyplay.com/AVP. Again, that's ballyplay.com/AVP to make your winning predictions. If you predict correctly, you win a free VIP package to the championships. So it's time to get those picks in. I asked Dane Blanton who his dark horses were for Chicago. What do you think, Dane? On the men's and women's side.
Would you like me to text Dane, or are you asking my opinion?
I'm asking your opinion.
Okay. Who's my dark horse for this tournament? On the women's side?
Apparently your name is Dane now, by the way.
I was wondering. I mean,
it's just going too quickly here.
I just upgraded in handsomeness, I'll tell you that much.
I'm sorry, Rich. Back out of the timeout, and another hitting error. But who are your dark horses? I have a feeling I know who you're picking for the men.
Well, so Dane asked me this question and said I can't pick my guys.
Oh,
I feel like Theo and Kame, we were watching them play. They're playing very well, and they've been in so many finals this season. I think they might break through and get their second win of the year here. On the women's side, I kind of, just as a fan, I kind of want to see the recently split Canadians pair off against each other in the finals for a little high stakes grudge match.
I think there'd be a few people who would enjoy that matchup.
Yeah, so we'll see what the volley gods have in store for us.
Sponcil, quick snap. There's I formation on the other side.
I got a message from a volleyball fan that said, if I pick the top 3 correctly of both genders, do I win a dinner date with Cameron? I said yes, but I suppose that's not for me to answer.
Are you sure you didn't mean Dane?
Yeah.
Get his name right? Oh, blocking the set on 2. There's something you don't see every day.
You do not see that every day. It's nice awareness from Gaffney to know that ball has to come over, but also very good awareness from Sponcil to be ready for that to come back to her.
9 kills now for Sponcil, hitting 500. 9 total digs.
Nice attempt that time from Sponcil. She's having a talk with Big Wave Dave, the down ref, thinking that ball, I don't know, she thinks it didn't go over the net. Looked like maybe they had an argument for there being 4 contacts on the side of Gaffney Rice, but that's not going to be called.
See the numbers from set 1 to set 2. Sponcil still going to have the conversation. Gaffney and Rice making a big difference now in set 2 from 091 to 417.
That's kind of flip-flopped, right? Cannon and Sponcil are untouchable in the first set, and they've struggled a little bit in their side-out game here in the second.
Sponcil still going to have the conversation. Does she swing? Yes, she does. Great angle, Therese Cannon.
A really nice set. And excellent bounce back from the controversy, as it were, right? It's so tough as a player. Sometimes you think you see things so clearly and you get caught up in arguing it, even though there's no chance that the call is going to get overturned and go your way.
Ace!
The tripler for the
Cannon.
Ace. 9-1.
Creeping their way back. 1 to the technical timeout. Therese Cannon loves to serve from that sideline. There's the left hand again of Sponcil. When she's in trouble, she'll typically find that deep middle. Gaffney showing her chops defensively. Willing their way back into set number 2. Just a 1-point game into the technical timeout.
And that's that kind of patented back to the line shot we see so much out of Sponcil, right? But she sets that up nicely with the one we talked about earlier, where she comes out of the middle and goes cross her body.
So there was a 6-0 run to hit the 10-4 by Gaffney and Rice, followed by a 6-1 run.
Well, we've had some pretty phenomenal matches already to this point. Challenge more so on some of the outer courts. And one of those was on the women's side, where Tina Gradina and Sarah Pavin were facing off against Maloney and Kahn. And that went to a gnarly third set that finished 33-31. And that's a new record for 3-set matches. It'll be interesting to see if this could be pushed to a third set. Maybe they're up it again. But can you believe that? 33-31.
And that match also started at 8:05 this morning. So that's a lot of volleyball for first thing in the morning. Good way to kick off a new partnership, right? Pavin and Gradina playing for the first time together here in Chicago. And
2 blockers together.
Getting their money's worth, yeah.
Is it Andy Benish and Phil combined yet again?
They would love to see similar results, yeah.
And it's interesting, speaking of women's play, you think back to the Tokyo Olympics and even that Olympic run, the number 1 and 2 teams in the world, Sarah Pavin and Melissa Humana-Paredes, as well as Alex Kleiman and April Ross. Now, we don't have either of those teams playing not only on the AVP Tour, but also internationally, at least for now, between Alex and April. So the door is pretty wide open, not only domestically, but in terms of internationally, too. We've seen so many different winners on the FIVB Tour. You think back to Sarah Hughes, Kelly Kolinsky back in Itapema, as well as Betsy and Kelly. It's Betsy Flint and Kelly Chang just picking up a big victory in an Elite 16. Bounce, but double contact.
Yeah, her second mishandled ball. Yeah, it's interesting because we have a short window, right, with the Olympics just happening last summer. So there's only 3 years until the Paris Games. And the qualifying window opens next year. So any partnership shakeups are going to kind of happen right now because teams have to prepare for that Olympic run and qualification and so forth.
What is that qualification process like? Can you maybe educate the audience as to how that kind of works? No?
No, in years past, it's been, you have to put together your best 12 finishes. Ooh.
That's a nice block from Therese Cannon.
Yeah, that'll make up for a double call earlier, right?
Yeah.
Just clean it up that way. Yeah, I think the process has changed just a little bit, so unfortunately I'm not exactly sure what it is, but in the past it's been your best 12 finishes internationally.
And within that window, the 2-year window prior to the Olympics.
Correct. Yeah, it goes up through typically around the end of July, first part of June of the Olympic year, so 2024 in this case.
Our Olympian down on the sand, Sarah Sponcil, played alongside Kelly Chang in Tokyo. Rice. Nice swing into the seam.
Great put away, yeah. Chang and Sponcil had one of the more exciting Olympic qualification runs in history, probably. They needed just some unbelievable finishes to overtake Carrie Walsh-Jennings and Brooke Sweat as the #2 American team, and they came up with back-to-back international wins. in Sochi and in Ostrava, Sochi, Russia, and Ostrava, Czech Republic, just when they needed them.
What a rally. Jessica Gaffney with a great save. Sponcil, tight ball. And another good recovery. This time it's Sponcil looking for the bump jump attack.
Yeah, just kind of lost her place in the court.
Is that adequate?
Jump bump? Yeah.
Usually you see that from Marciniak on the set.
Indeed. Now, throughout that rally, she just kind of lost her place on the court a little bit, right? Wasn't quite sure where she was.
Probably trying to figure out the wind direction just like you.
Yeah. Both of us are still at a loss, it appears.
Up.
Oh, it's going up.
Stepping into the cut. Snaps. I feel like when Sponcil maybe is, and not to say off balance, but maybe when the ball is typically behind her and she doesn't have the greatest vision, I love the way she typically attacks the deep middle. I feel like that's a normal play for her at this point.
Yeah, I mean, probably everyone's in that category a little bit. If you get underneath the ball, it's harder to have that good peripheral vision. But it's important, and that's kind of one of the things that come with repetition, is to know what your outs are when you get in those compromised situations, right? And you point that out very well, that that deep middle is a good swing and a great out for Sponcil.
The winner will either face Larissa and Lily. Or Quiggle and Skirmerhorn. Quick feet. Ain't had to go over, but not enough. And so just like that, back on top are Cannon and Sponcil.
Yeah, they've just grinded their way back into this, haven't they?
Without a doubt. There was, what, at least a 5-point margin in set number 2?
Yeah, I believe so. It was 9-5 or 10-4?
10-5, yeah, something like that. Jessica Gaffney, she had that block in set 1. She's had a couple nice control blocks as well.
Yeah, it's a hallmark of top teams, though, right? Is even if they get in little deficits, they know they have that confidence that they can just steady out, play their game, and they'll continue to create opportunities to score. And Sponcil and Cannon have done that nicely in kind of the second half of this second set, but still a race to 6, and Rice and Gaffney are playing well.
15 apiece, and great job by our crew also picking up that control block. Jess Gaffney with 1 in the first, 4 in the second set. Those numbers matter. Represents their presence up there at the net, how much they're getting their hands on. Can she get there? Love the effort on the side of Rice and Gaffney.
Yeah, you love the effort, and that play right there kind of goes to a point I wanted to make about the control blocks. You know, we have that sort of progression idea oftentimes, right? Like good reads lead to touches, touches lead to blocks, or, you know, touches lead to digs if you're the defender, right? And those blocks or digs lead to points, right? So if you kind of have that progression in mind, to your point, the control blocks are very good.
And the third for Therese Cannon. Double contact, that is.
Yeah, to me, that's more of a decision-making error right there, right? You can see that ball kind of pushing her towards the net, and if your shoulders are perpendicular to the net as the ball's coming across you, it's going to be very hard to contact that cleanly.
Gaffney out to 6 control blocks, says she can't get her hand on that one from Therese Cannon. Cannon continuing to rip into the angle. She did a nice job kind of spraying that ball around the angle, though. That time finding the seam. That's a great swing on an out-of-system play.
Yeah, that's just a masterclass too. The calmness with which Sponcil slides into that ball and is just so relaxed with her hands, yet strong at the same time, right? Perfect overhand dig technique by her.
16 to 18, Sponcil known for that overhand contact, at least when she's setting the ball. That time it was defensively done. I feel like we're starting to see more and more defenders kind of play a little bit more shallow, taking as much as they can overhead.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, offense develops, right? It progresses. And, and one of the ways that offensive players have really upped the ante, so to speak, is like they're not just hitting line shots or cut shots or whatever. They're varying depths, varying speeds and so forth. And so if you can get trajectory on a shot and slap it straight down, a defender has little to no chance at that, right? So if you can step up and be proficient digging underhand and overhand from a kind of a neutral spot, you're increasing your ability to dig balls, I think, defensively.
It's a great point. As you can see the numbers for Cannon. 15, 2, 3, and 3.
And C block isn't where I'm like the C in the YMCA Village People concert where I go, huh.
We need a booth camera to pick that technique up. It was very well done.
Demonstrative C, I'm like the, you got me being more the Indian or the cowboy in the Village People crew.
And just in time, a beautiful block from Therese Cannon. She saw that stat come up on screen. She said, let's level it up.
Enough of the C block. I'll take the S block.
Stuff block for Therese Cannon.
Or do we call it the M block with our monster block song we play in the stadium?
Fair, fair, fair. Let's add that to the stat sheet. We have an S block, a C block, and an M block. Doug Strauss would hate us. Tight. How about that? How about the T block, the throwdown block?
Throwdown. There you go. Yeah, that is, I will say, though, just to use that word control, that's very well controlled, right? Those aren't easy plays, especially when you got the attacker coming in, and she found the open space very nicely there.
Match ball. Great job by Rice to be able to pull that out of the net, or at least beat it there.
After a shaky start in the second set for Cannon and Sponcil, they really bounced back nicely, right, and have a good cushion here with several match points.
Yeah, I think that's something you can definitely build off of too, right? When your back's against the wall, those are the type of experiences you can pull back out of your pocket, feel confident in. Another match ball. Tight. Can she get there? And just like that. A little unorthodox is the finish, but hey, what a great rally from the #2 seed of Cannon and Sponcil in set #2 to win in straight sets, 21-13 and 21-17.
The 7 run, really taking control. And it's good enough for Therese, Sarah, Megan, and Jess.
Great effort from Megan Rice and Jessica Gaffney. Their hustle was on full display. Again, the winner, Cannon and Sponcil, will now face either the #7 seed, Larissa and Lily, or the #10 seed, Quiggle and Skirmerhorn. This is just their first round. Jessica and Megan will be moving to the contenders bracket. This is a double elimination tournament. 16 total teams. Where will these two close out? Cannon and Sponcil. Well, they won a second title in 2022. Your Hermosa Beach champs close it out. And yes, this is the right one. This is the Wilson Volleyball Play of the Day. I mean, why not when you win it with your right hand? A little boop over. Again, this is your Wilson Volleyball Play of the Day. Therese Cannon with the bump kill.
That's why you play all those warm-up games with one arm and so forth, right? So if the time comes, you need it to win a match, you got it.
You can see who's warming up next. Sarah Hughes, Kelly Kalinsky, as well as Meg Kraft and Emily Stockman. That's going to be your next match here on Stadium Court. This is a match, the second round match out of the winners bracket.
There's an open bar. You know what?
So that's going to be coming up next here on Stadium Court. You're not going to want to miss the rest of our Friday coverage. Thanks for joining myself and Rich Lamborn, a.k.a. Dave.